Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 405 today, and I want to talk about planning system changeovers, planning system upgrades. It was a discussion I was having with a mate. I know I have some really strange discussions with my mates. Yesterday actually, and we were talking about a comment I had seen on one of the government systems in one of the countries, and it was still using COBOL. Now, if you don't know what COBOL is, it's a programming language. It started in the 60s and the 70s, and I can't say it's a dead language, but it's not something that we use regularly. It's not something that is really taught in schools anymore. It's a pretty niche language, but there are still systems that run on COBOL, and there are still systems that run on what we would call legacy systems. And the discussion went, just to give this some framework, the discussion went, well, that needs to be changed. Well, yes, it does, but it's not an easy thing to do. And here's why it's not an easzy thing to do. I'm not going to focus on what the base languages are. I'm going to talk about legacy systems and what you might need to think about when you're changing them out. But now for small business, it's a little easier, although only a little bit. The same considerations occur. You have a system that's in place. Let's say, for example, it's a quasi customer relationship management system. It's something that you've patched together. You've got your email and things come in on email. You've got your email, you've got a spreadsheet that you use. When the things come in, you copy them out of the email, or maybe you use Zapier and you automate it, takes the information out of your email and puts it into your spreadsheet, and then someone comes along to the spreadsheet and goes, oh, I need to do this, and then copies that into another one, or hits a button and it copies a macro runs and it copies it to another spreadsheet, or it does something with it. That's a legacy system. You know what your inputs are, you know what your outputs are typically, you know what you want that system to do. What tends to happen with legacy systems is you may start with a set of needs. I want these inputs, I have these outputs, this is what I want to do. But over time, a legacy system tends to grow. You can't avoid it. Oh, I need to do this now. Well, if I tweak this a little, I can do this, or I add this information in, or if in the case of a spreadsheet, I add a column in, I can start to get all this information. It's a legacy system, it grows. Now you get to a point of, this really isn't cutting the mustard. I really want to upgrade. I really want to make things a little simpler. So I'm going to put in a new system. How do you do that? How do you take an existing process that is already working and cut it over to a new system without impacting your business? Now, I am sure you are all aware of the nightmare stories where, and there was one, it was a health insurance provider here in Australia in 2019. Yeah, towards the end of 2019, they decided they were going to cut over their computer system to a new system. All of their membership records went across. All of their claims systems went across. Everything went across this new system. And it was pretty much we're going to turn this on, turn this off. It's all going across. It crashed. It didn't work the way they thought it would work. People couldn't make their claims. They couldn't claim online. We couldn't log into our accounts. We couldn't update our payment system. We couldn't update our payment details. Some of our payments were actually went missing. Like some of us were actually in arrears because we didn't get notices that our memberships were due, and they weren't taking money out of our banks. It was a nightmare. And then to try and get through to them to try and work out what had happened. So you'd pick up the phone. No, sorry, we're too busy. We can't talk to you. They had such long queues on their phone systems that you would sit on hold for hours waiting for someone to answer you. You would send in an email and it would take months for them to respond to you. It's better now. They're still having trouble. And the worst part was they'd turned the old system off and they couldn't turn it back on. They couldn't cut back over. How do you avoid that? That's a great example of what I'm talking about here is you if you don't plan your cutovers correctly, if you don't think about all the things that you need to when you're doing a cutover, you will cripple your business. And in some cases, your business may not survive that. So how do you do it? What are the things that I think you could be doing? How do I think that could have been done better? Now, I can't comment on that health insurance provider because I wasn't there. I don't know what the constraints were. I don't understand any of what went on. All I can do is sit on the outside and say there were probably things that could have been done to mitigate that. And here's how I would do it. And here's how I've done it with clients who've wanted to cut over from one system to another. The first thing I do is I sit down with them and I say, tell me how all this works. Show me how you get people through your system. Show me all your inputs. Show me all your outputs. Okay, now we're going to do that again and we're going to go through and someone does this, what do they do? And we map all the processes all the way through the business. It hits this system, it does this, it triggers this email, it sends this SMS, this person gets a notification on their phone, whatever it is. We have all that mapped out. We know what the process maps are. Or we're 99.999% sure we know what the process maps are. We understand the majority of how that system works. Then we go and we determine the right system to put in place. It might be that they've got their system identified and we just need to work out how to map it across. Might be we need to go through and do a full needs analysis against, or a requirements analysis against what their needs are to what can be provided, choose something. Then we sit down and we work out the best possible way to cut it over. One of the things I try to avoid is an all or nothing approach. As I was discussing with my mate, sometimes you can't avoid it, but when you've got a big system that does multiple things, try to find the smallest, most inconsequential thing that you do and cut that over first. Test that, put that through to the new system, let your old system sit there, let everyone else run on the old system, cut that over, see how that works, do a proof of concept, yes, we understand what's going on here, find out what fails, find out what works well, find out what you didn't think about and put it through the new system. Then you take the next little thing that you're doing and you put that through the system. Sometimes that means you're going to duplicate effort for a little bit, but wouldn't you rather duplicate effort rather than have something fall in a heap and not be able to do your work because nothing is working? So there's some things to think about when you're looking at your legacy systems. And when I talk about legacy systems, I don't mean things that are years and years and years and years and years old. We certainly can mean that, but I do mean things that are in your business that are running today that you might want to cut over to something new. Don't just go, right, this is the best new thing. I want to do this. And we're just going to make it all, and we're just going to cut everything over all at once. You're going to stress yourself, you're going to stress your clients, you're going to stress your staff, your team members, and all in all, it's highly likely you're going to impact your business and cost your business money while you clean up the things that occur around it. So do it slowly, do it carefully, work out if you can do a phased cutover, work out if you can take little bits, little chunks at a time and swap it over. Do your testing, make sure that's bedded in, do your next one. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, let me just finish that thought. Oh, I shouldn't just jump about, should I? While you're doing that, make sure you've still got the legacy system sitting there working. You might need to pay for a couple of extra months worth of hosting or subscriptions while you're doing the cutover. Wouldn't you rather that and be able to say, look, we're just going to flick back to this while we address this issue because this issue is actually a game stopper. It will stop the game. It will stop us working. Let's move back to the old system, keep people working in there while we get this one running. And do it that way. If you can't do a phased cutover, if it's really a matter of, look, it's an all or nothing, there is no way we can cut over one or two things at a time. We need to cut it all over. Have the other system sitting there as a backup. Don't just turn it off. Make sure that you're running duplicate sets of records. Make sure that you're running duplicate sets of hosting. Make sure that if there's a problem, you can flick a switch and say, we're back on this one. Use this for now while we sort out what was going on here. That's what I think. It was an interesting discussion across the weekend with the legacy systems. We've got to get rid of them. It's not as easy as it sounds. It requires a lot of work. It requires dedicated people to make sure that you have got all the things in place so that it is seamless and your clients and your staff and your team members aren't impacted greatly by it. Let me know what you think. Have you ever had to do that with a system? Have you ever looked at it and gone, it's just too hard? Or have you been one of the ones who've gone, oh, this will work perfectly, and you've had problems? I would love to know. Finally, did you have one that just worked? I'd love to know. I love success stories like that. Let me know what you think. Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. You can join me on my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can send me a DM on any of my social media channels and I'll get back to you. Come and visit me at my website, askcharlyleetham.com. If you can, please remember to like this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.